nestled in the heart of a bustling city market. The store stood out like a diamond among rocks. The shop's exterior shimmered with glass walls that reflected sunlight during the day and sparkled under golden light at night. Bold cursive letters above the entrance spelled Lux Bags Boutique. Inside, the air was perfumed with a rich, expensive fragrance that lingered long after customers had left. The floor was polished marble, gleaming like a mirror, while crystal chandeliers hung gracefully from the ceiling, casting an elegant glow over the store. Every shelf was lined with handbags that seemed to whisper luxury, Italian leather, rare crocodile skin, and even custom designs embossed with gold and silver. Each bag was placed on velvet cushions, as if they were treasures meant to be worshipped. In the center of the store, a glass display case showcased the most expensive pieces, some worth more than a house. Asampete herself was the crown jewel of her boutique. She was breathtaking, her beauty the kind that made strangers stop in their tracks. Her skin was smooth and flawless, the color of rich honey. Her hair was always perfectly styled. Her figure was curvaceous, and she knew how to dress to make every inch of her beauty shine. She walked with the grace of a queen, her high heels clicking on the marble floor as she greeted customers with a practiced smile. One day, while Asampete stood in the middle of a luxurious store, customers miled around, admiring her expensive handbags displayed on the shelves. A customer entered. She strode gently, her eyes scanning all the alluring bags at once. Then she stopped suddenly and called out to Asampete. Asampete turned. When she saw the person who called her name, her mouth opened in utter shock. Asampete, is this you or am I dreaming? Glory, Asampete called out, and then like sisters who got lost during war, they hugged each other tightly. Asampete led Glory to a luxurious chair. Glory looked at Asampete with amazement. How? When did you get all this? Please show me the way too. Asampete laughed. My dear, it's God though. I better leave that God talk now. I am not playing with you, this woman. I know it's not God that did this one. Tell me exactly what you did. I know you now. How did you do it? My sister, Asampete replied. It's one man like that though. The man gave me money to start this business, and I did, and now look at it. God has blessed me, oh my sister. God, okay. If God wanted to bless someone, it would not be Asampete of all people. It cannot be, she thought to herself. They were childhood friends, and they knew almost everything about each other. They talked and laughed about several things they did in the past, and soon Glory left. When she got home, Glory sank to the chair, her heart racing. Asampete was now a rich woman. Asampete, the same Asampete she knew. This was the same Asampete that they almost burnt alive few years ago for stealing in a market at Onitsha. Asampete was poorer than a church rat. She had nothing. She knew Asampete more than anyone, and so Glory knew that something was off. You see, Asampete was born into a very poor family of 8. She was the last born of the family. She hated work in all its form, sweeping the compound, fetching water from the stream, or helping her mother cook felt like a punishment crafted just for her. But there was one thing she loved more than anything else: luxury. She would spend hours admiring the shiny jewels at the market stalls, or running her fingers over the soft leather of expensive handbags. She wanted everything she saw, yet she had no money of her own to buy it. By the time she was 16, Asampete was obsessed with living the high life. Back then, she would borrow wigs, bags, and dresses from her friends to fit in with the rich girls at school, and she never returned them. When borrowing didn't work anymore, she started stealing. Her victims would often forgive her, bewitched by her beauty and charm. But as she grew older, her appetite for luxury grew. She wanted more: expensive wigs, designer bags, and golden jewelries. She didn't care how she got them, as long as she got them. One evening, Asampete had invited Glory to the market. They walked around, pricing clothes, shoes and bags. Asampete bought just a few, but when they got home that day, Glory was shocked to see things Asampete didn't pay for. "How did you get all these things?" Glory asked, her jaw dropping in shock. "They play. You don't know that you have to be smart to get rich in this life," she sighed. Then she brought out a brand new phone. Glory's hand flew to her mouth. "Whose phone is this again? I just removed it from one man's bag like that." Asampete laughed. "Heh, see you. You are just a doing good girl. That is your problem." "Just the play," she said again. That evening, Asampete had disappeared. Search parties were organized. Police report was made, yet nothing. 2 days later, Asampete returned unharmed, but she looked a little bit off. Asampete had told Glory that the phone she stole had belonged to a herbalist. She felt this strange urge to go somewhere. So as if in a trance, she had transported herself to another village entirely that she hadn't been to before. And she made her way to the herbalist's hut. When she arrived, the man took his phone away from her and told her no one steals from him. She narrated that he even wanted to kill her, but she cried and pleaded and the man let her go. Glory had found Asampete's story a bit off. She looked like she was hiding something, but she never asked her what. 1 month later, Asampete had traveled out of the village and they lost contact ever since. But seeing her again now after just 3 years as the billionaire shocked Glory. "No," Glory said as she sat down on the bed heavily. "She can't be making this much wealth from just selling handbags now. I will find out where she is really getting her money from. I have always been the good girl, yet I have nothing, and she that is a thief always has everything. I must do something." You see, Glory was a good girl that wanted to live a straightforward life, believing that one day it would pay off, but it never did. She had watched her bad colleagues and friends prosper and thrive more than her. And now, the most shocking one of all was Asampete. Glory vowed to herself to get Asampete's secrets so she too can become rich. It was a Monday morning. Asampete sat in her office scrolling through her social media page when Glory entered. She walked through the store looking at the expensive bags. Then she saw a bag that caught her eye. It was a gold bag that screamed luxury, but it was very expensive. She wanted it, so she begged Asampete that she would be paying in installments. But to her surprise, Asampete gave her the bag as gifts. Glory and Asampete became very close again. They went to parties together, eat together, and Glory was always at Asampete's store. But deep down, she just wanted to know her real source of income. "So you mean it's just this bag shop that is giving you all this money, eh?" Glory asked Asampete one hot afternoon. I can't lie to you now. God just decided to bless me, my sister. What can I say?" That day, when Glory returned home, she broke down and screamed angrily. "So she doesn't want to tell me. I see. Asampete. So you don't want me to be rich to Abi? You want to be the only rich one so that you can boss me around and give me peanuts, right?" Glory laughed dryly. "Asampete, since you want me to remain poor, I will take everything you have. I promise you." While she laughed and played with Asampete in front of her, behind she hated her for not making her rich too. She was devising plans on how to steal Asampete's riches from her. After all, she was a thief and used to steal from others. One hot afternoon, Glory stood at the ATM to withdraw some money. After she withdrew the money, the balance of her money in her bank account was not adding up. 50,000 naira was missing from her account. "What is this?" she screamed. "I have not withdrawn any money before now. She quickly went to the bank to complain, but it showed that the money was withdrawn physically, so they couldn't place where it went to. Glory was stunned. She knew she did not withdraw any money, but with all the evidence, she decided to let go, concluding the hackers must have done it. But few days later, 70,000 naira cash went missing from the money she kept in her handbag to go pay her landlord for her rent. She searched everywhere for it, but she couldn't find it. First, it was the money in her accounts, now her cash. She was certain that this time it was not hackers that did it. She didn't have much and she was just managing the little she had, and now huge amount of money was missing. She had to find out what was happening. 3 weeks later, Glory realized that 20,000 naira was missing in her account again. Her eyes widened with shock. Then she realized that there was a pattern. This happens whenever she uses or puts her money in the handbag Asampete had given to her. The handbag. She must have done something to it. She laughed in amazement. If this was true, then this was her chance to take everything from her. She wasn't sure, but she had to find a way to know for sure. So she dressed up and went to see Asampete. "So you are using your handbag to steal from people?" Glory asked Asampete, prayed she should confirm her suspicions. "I have lost 150,000 naira since I started using your bag." Asampete was quiet, only staring at Glory with shock. How did you know?" Glory laughed as she stood up happily from her chair. "I knew it! A leopard never changes its spots." "Please, you can't tell anyone, please. I beg you," Asampete said as she fell to her knees. But Glory's face hardened. "Only on one condition. You leave all this for me." "What?" Asampete's heart skipped. "What are you saying?" "If you don't, then I will announce to the whole world that you are stealing from them. And you know what that means? You know it will not end well for you. I thought you were my friend. How could you?" Asampete shouted. "Friends indeed. When I was begging you to show me the way, did you answer me? So, are you in or out?" Asampete thought for some time. "Fine, but I have to officially announce you as the owner of the store. If not, some people might not patronize you," Asampete said, her voice shaking. Glory smiled happily. "This was easier than I thought," she thought to herself. She sensed something unsettling, but she brushed it off. Who cares? She was rich. That's all that mattered. Asampete went on all social media and announced that she wasn't the owner of Luxe Bags, but she was only acting on the owner's behalf. She presented Glory as the real owner of the shop. Then she ended her announcement by saying that she was leaving the company as a whole. 1 month later, Glory, now a rich woman, sat majestically on the luxury couch in her shop where Asampete used to sit. She was going through her sales book when she heard a loud commotion outside. Soon, hundreds of women stormed her shop, carrying sticks and weapons. Before Glory could say Jack Robinson, they vandalized and broke everything in the shop. And before she could blink her eyes and open, the women set the store on fire. "How dare you steal from us?" one woman yelled while throwing a bucket of urine on Glory. And then they pounced on Glory. The women beat her blue-black. They then put a tire on Glory as she screamed for help. They were about setting her on fire, but luckily for her, the police arrived. They arrested Glory, who was now visibly shaking with fear and pains. It was in the police station that she realized what had happened. The women had realized that Luxe Bags boutique had stolen millions from them. Glory shouted in fury, "Asampete! How dare you do this to me?" Glory suspected that Asampete must have told the women that she was stealing from them. Glory tried to defend herself, saying that Asampete was the culprit, but no one believed her. Some very rich women wanted her out of the society, so Glory was sentenced to 50 years in prison. She would be 82 when she would be finally free. Her life was basically over. 1 year later, Glory was a broken woman. She regretted ever running into Asampete again. She regretted taking over her business. She regrets making the most wrong choices of her life. One day, she was told that she had a visitor. It was Asampete. Glory rushed at Asampete, trying to tear her apart, but the police restrained her. "When did you become like this?" Asampete asked, tears in her eyes. "You were the good girl, the honest one, the contented one. Did you know that I envied you? I wanted to be like you." What happened? Glory broke down in tears. You didn't even get to know how the money was disappearing. You remember that time I went missing for 2 days that year? The herbalist I stole his phone from had told me that I had to work and make money for him for stealing his phone. So he opened the bag shop and put spells on the bag. Anyone who uses the bag and puts their money, ATM, or even their phones, some of their money disappears into my account. But when they go to bank, they cannot find anything because it will only show that it was withdrawn somewhere. And those bags were meant for rich ladies. That was why they are so expensive. Because these rich women would never notice. The herbalists own 60% of the money while I do all the work. The spell could only be broken if someone figured it out. That is why I gave you the bag, Glory. Hoping you would figure it out. Because I was tired. I was tired of seeing people suffer. Some people that bought this bag were not rich, but because they liked the bag, they bought it, and their monies kept disappearing. Some it was their school fees, some their house rents, some their feeding money, and they all had to suffer. I felt sorry for those women who bought those bags and kept losing money that they didn't even have enough. And you did. You figured it out. I wanted to close down the whole shop and just disappear with you to start a new life. But then you happened. I'm sorry, but I can't help you now. Glory broke down in tears. She realized that she had ruined her life with her greed. If only she knew, she would have done things differently. Now, she will waste away in prison for something that she didn't even know the roots of. Asambete relocated to another country entirely. With the millions she had in her account, she started a new life. This time, with honesty and dignity. She never stole or deceived anyone again. She felt sorry for Glory, but there was nothing she could do for her. She made her choice, and she had to live with it.